What's up and welcome back to the Section 10 Podcast, episode 452, presented by Barstool Sports. It is the home of your soon-to-be 2022 World Series champion, Boston Red Sox. My name is Jared Carabas, and I am a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is Coley Mick, and he's 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is Pat Light, and he had a 23 ERA with the Red Sox, and you can't teach that. Bada boom. Realest guys in the room. Gary, how you doing?
What up, what up? Section 10 in the building.
In the motherfucking building. Presented by Coors Light.
Suck one.
Absolutely suck one.
Suck one.
Absolutely suck on that. It is February 10th. Pitchers and catchers supposed to be reporting within the next few days. It's not going to happen. This is usually around the time of the year that baseball fans would start to get excited about baseball. This weekend, Super Bowl, that's usually, if you're a Red Sox fan, which again, I've gone on this rant a million times about how I think it's bizarre that there are so many Red Sox but not Patriots fans. They're like Red Sox Steeler fans. Okay, whatever floats your boat. But after the Super Bowl, we'd be like, it's baseball season. Or at least when your team gets eliminated, which 10 times over the last 20 some odd years, it ended in the Super Bowl. If you're a Patriots fan, I don't feel that way. I'm not on the spectrum of we're not going to have games. I am on the spectrum for sure. No doubt. I'm not on the side of the spectrum with, I don't think we're going to start playing games until May. I think they'll figure something out. Rob Manfred was talking today, and he's like, yeah, we're optimistic, and we know that it would be catastrophic or disastrous if we were to miss games. And it's like, yeah, okay, you're acknowledging that. You guys going to do something about it? And I feel like, we're getting somewhere. But that was the general consensus, having returned from Arizona a couple days ago, talking to some of the players that are down there. A lot of them, they live out in Arizona, and they'll have spring training in Florida. They're like, a lot of them, they're like, yeah, we've never been in Arizona in February before, because usually when we leave, go to spring training, and this is a new experience for us. So some of them were saying, yeah, maybe like late March, but yeah, I'm not sweating it right now. Once we get to mid-March and it doesn't seem like something is imminent or around the corner, that's when I'll start to get agitated. But until then, I'm just like, all right, yeah, both sides are posturing. Both sides are trying to swing big dicks at each other, which would be weird. That's a weird visual to think of, is two groups of people swinging their dicks at each other. But that's what's happening here, Pat. As a business guy, the Light Group, Fox Business. You care to comment on any of the business matters that have been going on recently?
Well, listen, as a business executive, someone who is very reputable in this world, a lot of people talking about it. Actually, there's MLB PA and MLB both asked me to be on their side. I declined, obviously, want to stay neutral on this.
Right.
But listen, a lot of posturing going on out there. I love what's going on. I gave a very unpopular opinion and got roasted for it on Twitter, that I quite enjoyed what's going on in this particular
that was a terrible
negotiation.
Tweet.
I like it. The only thing that I'm against is if the owners are actually negotiating in bad faith. They're not actually coming to the table with reasonable things. The thing is, we just don't actually know that. The players, of course, are going to say they're being unreasonable. The owners, of course, are going to say that they are being reasonable. So there's not really a way to understand, to really know, unless you're sitting at the table, how reasonable people are being. But I think a deal gets done before the regular season starts. I think we'll be fine.
Coley, do we miss games?
I don't think so. The Players Association should certainly push for that, because I do think the owners are acting like they don't need spring training at all. And the Players Association should be like, well, we don't want all of our pitchers getting tremendously hurt, which they would. So yeah, the Players Association at this point should absolutely be like demanding the season starts late, just for the safety of their own players. Otherwise, Tony Clark's a real asshole. Everything Manfred said today makes him look like just the dumbest person who's ever lived. Him being like, phone works both ways. Like, no, it doesn't. You lock them out. The players aren't on strike. You're not waiting to hear their demands. You literally lock them out. This is on you and on the owners. This is not on the players. I don't understand anything he said. He said owning a team is more of a risk than buying stocks. Patently false. Like, maybe the dumbest thing anyone's ever said. It's far safer return on investment owning a Major League Baseball franchise. In fact, the only safer thing than owning a Major League Baseball franchise is owning an NBA franchise, which has a higher return on investment. An NFL team has a lower return on investment than owning the Kansas City fucking Royals or the Minnesota Twins or the Oakland Athletics, any of these fucking nobody teams. The fact that Manfred's out here just lying, the MLB already had to come out and say, no, Manfred was wrong about these 5 things he said. Like, that's a bad look that he had all the time in the world and he hasn't spoken to the Players Association really at all, but that he just went out there and lied for all these owners for no good reason. Why would anyone have any faith that this deal's close to getting done? They've agreed on the DH. That was never a big point of contention from the players. Like, the players were pushing for that for years. Like, that wasn't a big fucking bridge to cross. And then there's no draft compensation for signing free agents. Is that the other thing they agreed on? Like, I can't even believe Manfred because he lied about so much other shit.
Yeah, there was something that he misspoke about that they immediately had to correct. They're like,
instantly.
They're like, that's not even close to what is going on.
What an asshole. What a dumb asshole.
It was something I forget what it was, but it was just the complete opposite.
The draft pick thing. It was like luxury tax or something.
I'll have to go back and find it. There's already so many tweets just about today and the things that Manfred was saying, but it's like, we had to issue a
league spokesperson. This is from Jeff Passan. A league spokesman said Rob Manfred misspoke about the competitive balance tax today. What Manfred said was not true. He suggested the penalties for exceeding it are status quo. They are not. Each of the 3 thresholds are higher. He said is higher. Additionally, draft pick penalties are higher. So, just completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The one I don't want to be pro owners here, but the one thing I want to on a business side that I want to make
Patty
clear.
Bootlicker.
The thing I want to make clear though for people is like one of my aspirations is to own a baseball team at some point in my life, and not a minor league team. I want to own a big league team. But you talk about like teams like the Red Sox, like Fenway Sports Group, who's apparently eyeing to go public at some point in their lives. The bottom line, although it might not directly affect them now, going public, if you're obviously they're doing salary compensation, stuff like that, they are going to directly affect the bottom line. The valuation of the businesses go way off, and they might have certain things they need to reach goals for certain things. Now, I am on the players' side in the sense of just, let's take care of the players, but it's more than just a billionaire being greedy. There's a lot of implications. I guess maybe not just being greedy, but there are a lot of implications here that people don't consider, rather than people just saying, "Oh, these billionaires, just give them the fucking money." There's more to it.
Even what you just said is an example of billionaires being greedy.
That's why I redacted that immediately, because I saw your face and I was like, I'm going to stop right here.
You were like, well, think about the money they could lose. This is like, what are you talking about?
I just like as I dive deeper into business, like if I like kind of like put it towards like me and my staff at Green Rock, let's say they were union workers. You know, if I was looking to sell, there could be owners in there looking to sell in the near future. I'm looking to sell. You know, if I make a decision here or vote on a decision that it could cost me, you know, a couple $100 million down the road here, that I might not want to do. I can understand a business owner not wanting to do that, is what I'm trying to say. But give the players the money.
I feel like they lose more money not playing games.
It really depends on how much. I mean, yeah, like a Fenway Sports Group is gonna lose. It stands to lose a lot more money because they're not selling anytime soon. Although I know they are trying to go public eventually. But like again, if I'm the owner of the Minnesota Twins and I'm already in talks with groups to buy you know the Twins out in the next 3 years, what I agree to here has direct implications on how much money I can get for me and my investors, because people forget also that it's not just one owner for these teams. There's usually a bunch. So it has direct implications on how much money me and my investors get in return here when I do sell. That's hypothetical too. I have no clue if someone's trying to sell right now.
What I never understand, and this is for any of the major sports, really the NFL seems to be the only one who doesn't have these problems, but like when they signed the last agreement between the MLB and the Players Association, it was immediately reported that there would be a lockout this year. Like the ink was not dry. Why the fuck would you agree back then to, like, they just kicked that can down the road? That was it. They're like, what? Why wouldn't you just figure it out then? And that's my biggest fear, is a weird word because I'm not afraid of any of this, but my biggest concern with this agreement now is that it's going to get signed. We're going to get games through. How long are these usually? Like 5 to 10 years, somewhere in that range.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just going to be like, oh, the next one's, we're missing 2 seasons. Like that's
yeah.
Would that shock any of us? It shouldn't.
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they haven't been on the same page in decades. They've never just had a point. Even when they come to an agreement, it's still like, all right, we agree, but fuck you, though.
Yeah, so it was like 93 was the last time everything was like, okay. And then they lock out in 94. They miss the World fucking Series. Michael Jordan's baseball career ends because of this. Like, there was a lot of fallout that they introduced steroids more prominently on the other side of it to make up. Like, their solutions for making up this revenue always cause much larger problems for them. They are the least competent. Like, they make the NHL look like such a smoothly run organization. It's so embarrassing for the MLB. I see old people today complaining about the universal DH. Like, that's such a small fraction of this. But even those people are just like, I would care about this more if I gave a fuck about baseball, which hasn't been the case in a long time. Like, that's where not a lot, but there's a portion of fans who think that way. They're like, we don't really give a shit if you come back or not. Like, you already lost me. And then I saw someone bring up a point the other day with the advent of like nationalized gambling. The MLB is a real problem with these 2 baseballs that they have, that players don't know what's going into games. People know. The players don't necessarily know if they're getting the fucking rubber ball or the real baseball. And you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars over the course of a 162 game season. That's the next big baseball scandal, is the literal balls and the fact that they use 2 of them without telling fucking anyone. Like,
yeah.
Manfred will go to jail over that. Like, that's not something to play around with. Like, if you thought Sammy Sosa and Rafael Palmeiro in front of Congress was funny, Manfred's sweating because of the amount of collusion, backdoor deals he did with gambling companies over like, oh yeah, no, make this the boost tonight. We're giving them the deadest ball ever. Like, that's how dumb these fucking people are. They're all going to jail.
What a take.
What a
Am I wrong?
No.
I mean, it's definitely going to be a problem for sure, especially now because it's proven, and Major League Baseball owning the company that makes the baseballs.
Right.
Like you can manipulate
And
the ball however you want. And
they have exclusive deals with certain gambling companies. I'm not going to say their names because I'm not trying to tie them up in on this. However, makes you go,
I think who was it? Pete Alonso? Was he the one that said that they were when they had like the shortstop class, the monster shortstop class coming up, that they were deadening the balls to lower the salaries?
Yeah.
And when they had like the monster free agent class with a bunch of pitchers, that's when they juiced the balls to up the ERAs of the pitchers. I mean, that's crazy. That's
I bet you in
super...
2016 they were juicing the balls. Now I get it. I would still be in the league right now. Son of a bitch.
They were like, oh, they're calling up Light.
Uh-oh.
Juice the balls.
Yeah, he's on pace for like a $300 million deal.
Give Justin Upton the fungo. He's taking Pat Yard.
Yeah.
And then that Aaron throw, that must have been a Nerf ball. So,
that was just like the weight was off. Yeah. You were used to the ball being heavier, and it happened to be lighter, so that's why you threw it into the fucking stands.
Quick business note for the players as well. I agree with McMahon, and I hate to do this to the fans, but if I'm the players, and strictly from a business standpoint, you do want to push this as close to the regular season as you can, because not only are owners going to lose big money on ticket sales, all that type of stuff at the stadium, a lot of these owners own a tremendous amount of real estate around their ballparks that will take a pretty large hit if they don't have games going. So also something to consider for players as far as getting leverage on the owners.
If you're an owner, though, don't you kind of acknowledge that there's a handful of teams that make money during spring training, and April ticket sales for baseball don't do fantastic because of the cold weather? If you're an owner, don't you kind of like want those to just be canceled?
I mean,
you're probably losing money by putting your product out on the field for April crowds.
I mean, not in Boston. I mean, you're right. So the handful of teams are making money. The rest of them are losing. I don't know, because you're talking about TV deals. I don't think you're losing money on that because of how much money. I mean, I think it's like 60% of the money that comes in for these baseball teams is from TV deals. It's not from concessions, from your beer being $73, although I'm sure that helps. Yeah, no, I think putting the guys on the field is always the better answer. But still, I think, I mean, it's possible they're already seeing hits around like Fenway and stuff like that. Maybe not Fenway, but like around Kansas City, if people aren't coming to town as much to spend as much money at places that these owners own that no one even knows that they own.
Yeah, I mean that's the Cubs, right? They've got that whole area over there, Wrigleyville.
So yeah.
We'll see.
I don't think I know they're affected all that much either. They're kind of a Boston type team.
Yeah,
I'm sure Wrigleyville takes a hit if there's no games going on.
Big time.
But by the same token, it's not one of the teams that are really hurting.
Yeah. I'm hurting for a Coors Light right now.
Yeah.
Like I want one real bad.
Like so bad you would like sink a ship.
Yeah. I mean, there's wanting a Coors Light, and then there's needing a Coors Light so bad that you'd put a ship on the bottom of the ocean to do it.
We immediately go to Pat's 12 pack, sponsored by Coors Light. Suck one for Pat's his favorite 12 sunken ships.
Yep, his favorite. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. That's. I'm so happy I came prepared for this.
Yeah. I mean, we gave you a whole week, maybe more.
Maybe more
to prepare. Last week we did Pat's 12 pack were the top 12 things that Pat likes about Coors Light. And
Which
then this week,
people loved.
people loved it. I mean, the ooh.
The ooh era, yes,
Yes.
in ancient China.
Yes, of course. So now it's time for Pat's 12 pack, where Pat shares with us his favorite top 12 shipwrecks of all time. Go ahead, Pat.
Of course. Okay. Well, so we have 12 of them, as everyone knows, and we start off, obviously, as I'm sure most people know that we're going to start here. It's called the SS, not SSS, the SS 1912. Well, the SS 1912 sailed from right in the heart of Venezuela,
Okay.
all the way up to Alaska, and well, it was supposed to make it to Alaska.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like it didn't make it. If it's
Yeah,
on
no,
the list,
yeah. So right as it's sailing, everyone knows right about the midway point from Venezuela to Alaska, there's this thing called the Great Swirl. And most people try, nowadays ships can handle the Great Swirl. It's not that big of a deal with the big cruise ships and stuff. But at the time in 1912, we didn't have those, so it got caught up, and there was this one of the parts of the swirl can hit the boat in a certain way where it punctures it. And this particular boat was famous because it was carrying molasses up to Alaska, which Alaska at that time had no molasses, and they needed it
Yeah.
badly.
Big time.
So big time. So they were bringing molasses up. The reason it became so famous because it was the first shipment. Now
Of
Alaska,
molasses.
very rich in molasses, but at the time had none. So it was the first of many. And we all every year on October 4th, we all have a moment of silence for the SS 1912. So
Yeah. Do we pour out molasses as part of the?
yeah, of course. Yeah, everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. So
Yeah.
that's number 12. Which everyone knew.
Number 12.
That's everyone knew we were gonna start there.
Yeah.
So the next one, and I think people probably guessed this one too. It's called the Great Cindy.
Yeah.
The Great Cindy. Everyone knows,
Mhm.
of course.
Yeah. How do you spell it?
GC.
Is it?
Hmm?
Yeah. Right. How do you spell it?
Oh, it just as you expect. GREAT with a
Mhm.
space, and then Cindy, SI, but the I is capitalized. Everything else
I
is
thought you said it was
lowercase.
C. Was it C?
Cindy, C, capital I, and then the rest is rare. And the reason why the I is
Got it.
capitalized is because Cindy is named after the captain, John. Gosh, what's this guy's last name?
Cindy.
No, it's not. That Cindy's his second wife. I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, John. John. Oh yes, John Fluteberry.
Yes,
Fluteberry.
John Flute. Yeah, of course.
John Fluteberry.
I remember
His first wife was Ira,
Mm.
and that's why the capital I.
Nice.
And then
Got it.
Cindy is his second wife, who he married in 1963
Okay.
in Southern California, a church by the name of Saint Episcopal. Very,
Okay.
very, very, very famous church. But we won't. That's for another day. That's probably for my 12 famous churches. But so. So where was I? Oh yes, the Great Cindy. The Great
Mhm.
Cindy was traveling from Norway into Spain.
Yep.
And into Spain. So in the Ibiza area, because everyone knows that's a island off of Spain.
Right.
And the reason why it's so famous is because of the Mayday call.
Right.
And
Which would it sound like?
So yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. So John Fluteberry
Yep.
was known for his comedic relief. that rapscallion. Oh my goodness, woo, he was fun. And so the entire Mayday call, he this is gonna take forever. The entire only on number 11. I don't know why I have to go so in depth.
No one told you to. That was a you call. You decided that.
So the Mayday call was he just said, "Hey guys, Mayday," and they're like, "God, Johnny Flute, how are you, Johnny?" He's like, "Is this one real this time?" Because he used to joke about it with the guys, and he's like, "No, it's real, it's real." Um, and so they all shared a good laugh. He apparently at that time told them there was no way of saving him. Please don't send the people out because he was a team guy. He was a team guy.
Right.
And so Johnny F said, "Don't worry about us. Me and Cindy are here having fun, probably having a drink because you know him."
Yeah.
And then that went down. But because of his selflessness, telling, "Please don't come," but I just wanted to say hello one last time.
Right.
Obviously, brings us in at number 11. Uh, you want to say something before I start the top 10?
I mean, I thought it was a very selfless thing of him to do,
Oh,
and it just kind of just showcases his sense of humor is all.
yeah. Okay. Number 10, and now number 10 through number 5 are a bit shorter stories
Yeah.
for time purposes, of course, right? Time purposes.
Of course.
Um, so the next boat at number 10 was named Mega Shuffle.
Okay.
And yeah, so Mega Shuffle was actually owned by one of the first ever DJs, disc jockeys. And the reason why this shipwreck is so famous is because when they found it on the seabed out in right off the coast of India.
Yeah.
I hope there's water around India. I'm pretty sure there is. But right off the coast of India,
Yeah.
the first thing they found was his disc jockey set. And what's crazy about it, and people still think that he was down there DJing still because the thing was still going even though it was submerged underwater for so long.
Right.
So that was crazy.
What was his name? What was his DJ name?
Oh man. What was his DJ name? Oh yes, DJ Rose Pedal.
Yes, DJ Rose Pedal. Yeah.
DJ Rose Pedal. Yes, DJ Rose Pedal.
Yeah.
His famous song, "Rosie Rosie, Pedal, Pedal." Rosie Rosie, Pedal, Pedal. Of course.
Yeah, I remember that one.
That was number 10. Number 9. Number 9.
Number 9. Yeah.
Number 9 is a boat called the Robot.
The
Eh,
robot.
The
Oh,
Robot.
shit.
Yeah, and the reason being called the Robot, and this is why again ties right into why it's being famous, is because it was one of the first ever boats to have that navigation system. No one ever seen it before, so like this must be a robot.
Right.
And
So they call
so
it that.
yeah, so they call it that. Obviously, captained by oh man, it was gosh, he had such a unique name.
Yeah.
Aiden Saddle River.
Yeah.
Aiden Saddle River. I forgot. How could I forget that name?
Of course.
Aiden Saddle River from the great country of Iceland, right on the coast too of Iceland, which is this town called geez, Black Snow, and
Yeah.
yeah. So that was
Small
cool.
town.
Small town. Only about 14 people in there. Aiden being one of them. Coming in at number 8. I'll speed this up. It is the boat called Johnny Mick, and the reason why it's called
Why
it's
do
on the
these
list,
boats have names like
because everyone names after endearing people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Johnny Mick. The reason why I chose this one, it's not super famous, but because we have Coley on the show, figured
Right.
it makes sense to come in at number 8 here. But
Right.
Johnny Mick is a boat just sailed off the coast of Portugal, and was going over to the West Indies, and yeah, it sunk. And
How did it sink?
uh, a warship from Japan by accident.
Yeah.
It was by accident.
Oh, it was friendly
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah, friendly fire. They had shot a missile up in the air as a test, and boom. So the Johnny Mick. That's the end of that.
Rest in peace to all those lost souls.
Yeah, there was only two. Beverly and
fucking miracle.
Yeah, it is. Beverly and Haisha. and good people,
Okay.
really good people on that
Yeah.
on that boat. So rest in peace to them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Number 7, I believe, right?
Number 7. Yep.
Number 7. Now number 7 is called the Panasonic, and it's because
Oh,
it was owned by one of the original
by
founders of Panasonic, the company. Can you believe that? Can you
okay.
believe that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Panasonic founded in 1973,
Mm-hmm.
and boy, was it a company! But
Mm-hmm.
one of the founders, Ben um, Ben Flaccid, Ben.
That must have been a tough name growing up for him.
You bet. You bet. He got picked on like you wouldn't believe, but he took it in stride
Yeah.
because good old Benny, great guy.
Right.
But he was obsessed
Right.
with boats, and so when
Okay.
he and his buddy started Panasonic, he was like, guys, I'm out. I know that's why you never heard of him. I'm out. Like, you Google him, you won't see it really, but I'm out.
Let's
I'm gonna go sail the Panasonic, and he left
Mhm.
out of South Africa on a excursion to see, in that time of year they see the great whites go out of the water. Great white landed on top of the boat. It wasn't super sturdy because Panasonic hadn't made it yet.
Coley?
Coley?
Is your grandmother's favorite animal the great white?
I think we cut that part of the so no, it's a
Okay.
cheetah. Anyway,
Gotcha.
so the great white landed on this not sturdy boat, and a tooth went into the side, and the rest is history from there.
Right.
Moving on from that, the number 6 comes in at a boat called One More Try. And the reason why this is famous is because they had already previously sank 6 boats consecutively. And the last boat was called One More Try. Unfortunately, they had all survived the previous 6, um, shipwrecks. Unfortunately, they did not survive this one, the One More Try. And the One More Try sank off the coast of Brazil. Coming in number 5, and this is where we're getting excited, guys. This is where everyone gets excited now. This one is called Mr. Suarez.
Oh.
Yep, Mr. Suarez. And this is quite interesting. Mr. Suarez was infatuated with Christmas. Now he was
Okay.
sailing, which is quite dangerous, and you'll see this particular piece of land come back up later on. But he was sailing in the Amazon. And as you know, once you get deep into the Amazon, there are creatures of the unknown. And he sank his boat 47 miles into the Amazon.
Mhm.
It was founded later, 20 years later, because this was sunk in 1951. And in 1971, it was founded, and they actually were still able, because of the preservation of it, were able to see why it sank, and it was because of
Mhm.
a Christmas light malfunction turned into a fire.
Oh. Wow, that's a
Yep.
catch-22.
Yes.
Sometimes you can love Christmas so much
Yep.
it can literally kill you.
So Felipe Suarez was the captain, and Felipe,
Mhm.
Christmas got him. Christmas got him. Listen,
Christmas
Christmas got
Death
him.
by Christmas.
Yeah. So, well, listen, 'tis the season.
It happens.
It does
It's
certainly.
the season.
Yes. It certainly happens. The next one, number 4,
Yeah.
and we're in the top 5 now. Excited times.
Top 5, yep.
Number 4 comes in the SS Kishimoto. And the
Oh.
SS Kishimoto. The SS Kishimoto was sailing off the coast of China, and this was again a war crime, and
Mhm.
prosecuted to the fullest extent. North Korea.
Yep.
North Korea
Ooh.
was doing its patented rocket tests.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, their rockets aren't tremendous, so they typically only go about 500 feet offshore.
Mhm.
And what had happened was it exploded in the water, and the
Mhm.
Kishimoto was only a little bit away. But it wasn't a very stable boat, and they created a kind of a tidal wave effect, and it
Right.
went, and of course flipped it over,
So
boom, sauce, capsized, sunk, I should say.
How many casualties?
15.
There's a lot of light casualties in a lot of these major boating accidents.
Unfortunately, these are the famous ones. Not many
Right.
famous boating accidents are with 0 casualties. So,
Right.
um, number 3,
Number 3.
number 3, and there's a reason why it's at number 3 and not number 1 because it's just too cliche. Number 3, what goes without saying, the Titanic.
Got it.
We all know what
Mhm.
happened. We don't need
Mhm.
go over. We've all seen Leo.
We've been there, done that.
Been there, done that, and I don't. It's
I mean,
cliche.
I'm stunned if the Titanic is number 3, what's coming in at
Well,
the top 2?
wait, and just wait. Whew. But the Titanic, again, cliche to give it number 1.
Yeah.
So, quick break. Go ahead, Jared.
Mhm.
Talk a little bit more about our Coors Light sponsor, and we'll be right back with number 2 and number 1. Please take
Wow.
a minimum of 3.5 minutes.
Pat, do you feel like you're always on?
Excuse me?
Do you feel like you're always on?
I do. Not.
These days,
Yes, I do.
everything is go, go, go. It's nothing but nonstop hustle all the time. I'm sure when these ships are capsizing, there's a panic in the air. It's the best time, I would argue, to chill out and reach for a tall, cool, refreshing Coors Light. There's only one beer out there that's literally made to chill, and that's Coors Light. The mountains on the bottles and cans and aluminum bottle cans turn blue when your beer is cold. That cold activation is really the only way to know when a beverage is cold. Because how would you know? Like plastic bottles, yeah, you can feel if the drinks was keeping those cold. When you're talking glass and aluminum, like those are already cold. So without that those blue mountains, you really are just you're hoping for the best with other people, not with Coors Light. You always know when it's time to chill. Mountain cold refreshment that's made to chill because Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged. It's literally made to chill. Jared,
Coley.
what's like the first thought that crosses your mind? Not when you order a Coors Light, not when you get it and you twist the cap, but like that first second when those golden ambers truly when they touch the lips, that 1st second, that first sip, but not after you swallow, just like when it hits the tongue.
When it hits the tongue, I'm just like, I'm being spoiled right now because there's a lot of people, some people will drink a soda just for the taste.
Yeah.
Some people will drink a Gatorade to quench their thirst. When I reach for an ice cold Coors Light, I'm getting all of that. It's like, I love the taste. I am getting a cold, refreshing beverage down my throat to quench my thirst as well. And it's also a statement piece. I know when I'm holding that Coors Light, it's like having a Rolex on. People just look at you different. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I know, quench the thirst, great taste, statement piece.
Coors Light is the one we choose when we need to unwind. So when you want to hit reset, reach for the beer that's made to chill. Get Coors Light and their new ever-changing look delivered straight to your door with Drizly by going to CoorsLight.com/rocket. Celebrate responsibly. Always. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Suck one.
All right. Pat's 12-pack. The top 2. We made it.
We made it, and boy, are the top 2 fun.
People died, Pat. Let's be sensitive.
Yes, but a long time ago. Now, the next 2, buckle up. Buckle up. Here we go. I got 2 names. Both names are top of the charts names as far as for boats. And both stories are tremendous. Now, one of them is actually, I'm going to tease the number 1. It's you've seen the movie probably, which is crazy. I know, but you haven't heard the whole story, and let me tell you. Okay. Number 2, though, before we get to number 1, is called the Marijuana Pepsi Jackson.
Yo, what?
Yeah. Yep, the Marijuana Pepsi Jackson. Now, the Marijuana Pepsi Jackson is the reason why it's called that. Now, it was captained by a tremendous gentleman. Really, really, really innovative, really, really good guy in Bobby Jackson. Okay. And Bobby really good guy. He wanted to infuse marijuana into Pepsi.
Okay.
So now, as you know, as everyone knows, in every country around the world, it is illegal to mix colas and marijuana.
Right.
You're not allowed to do that. Everyone knows that. You can't infuse those. Very, very, very dangerous and illegal.
It's a federal crime.
Federal crime, and in all countries. There's not a single country that allows you to do this. So everyone knows how serious this is. So he took a boat, went out to international waters. The whole thing put together, and he attempted to infuse marijuana into Pepsi. Now, the thing that's tricky here is that Pepsi is much more volatile than Coke.
Right.
And that's why it was so dangerous. So people would never in a million years try to do this with Pepsi. Okay, Coke maybe, okay.
Mm-hmm.
The chemicals, allow you to be a little bit better and a little bit more room for error. Pepsi, zero room for error. And boy, did Bobby find this out. And Bobby, he decided to do this, and there was a mishap in his calculations, and he can't have a mishap. Remember, Coke, mishaps. Pepsi, no mishaps.
No mishaps.
And he had a mishap, and boom goes the dynamite, and his boat exploded, and right off the coast of Kenya. And about 2-3 miles out of Kenya, because that was when he hit international waters. And Kenyans are not known to really monitor their waters that well. So that's why you go to Kenya. That's something everyone knows when you want to do illegal activities. You go off the coast of Kenya. Right. And so it would sunk there, and there were 3 casualties on board: Bobby, his lovely wife, Mary Jane, and then his godson, who was coincidentally the chemist on boat. His godson, Jeremy. What was his? It's not Jackson. Jeremy. It's not Jack. Jeremy Crystal.
Yeah.
Jeremy Crystal. So,
any relation to Billy?
No relation to Billy. No relation to Billy. People ask that all the time, but no relation.
Yeah.
And number one. Wow. Have you ever seen, guys, Coley and Jake and Jared? Have you ever seen the movie The Perfect Storm?
Yes.
Now, The Perfect Storm, if I remember correctly, ends happily. They make it back to shore, do they not?
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, I believe they do. Unfortunately, the real story is much more gruesome.
Ooh.
Now, the boat is called the Tokyo Sex Whale.
That was the
real name of the boat. Real name. They obviously they had to do it for a PG-13 audience. They can't call it the Tokyo Sex Whale.
Well, what we'll remember about The Perfect Storm is it takes place in Gloucester. They're all Gloucester fishermen. And the thing to remember about Gloucester is everyone there is on heroin. So keep going, Pat.
Well, they also have AIDS.
From the heroin. Yeah.
Wow. So listen, I appreciate that, guys. You just threw that little alley-oop, because both heroin and AIDS come into play here.
Okay.
So, funny enough, just such terrible timing. Funny enough, you want me to do something? Okay. Funny enough.
You should have kept your hat on like Papoose and just got the underparts.
Just the back.
Yeah.
So funny enough about the Tokyo Sex Whale.
The Tokyo Sex Whale. Yeah, get to the heroin and the AIDS.
Yes, of course.
Make sure you say them out loud too.
Yeah, can you run it back?
I can't run it back. No.
From the top.
So the Tokyo Sex Whale. Everyone knows that when you go out into the water from Gloucester, the first thing you do is take heroin. Now, at this time, immediately, first thing, heroin, boom. Most people don't know this, but heroin used to be prescribed back in the late 1920s for seasickness, and that's why they do it. Yeah.
So it's tradition.
Yes, because if you saw the movie, you know how crazy the waters get that time of year.
Big waves.
They take, first thing, boom, not even a microdose. You go macro dose of heroin. You really want to get fucked up.
Right.
From there, this is amazing. From there, God, I can't laugh. I'm getting a haircut.
Wait, for Pat, you got to remember this. There's a lot of people watching on the YouTube, of course.
Of course.
But some people are just listening to the audio. So what's happening?
Can you guys hear the razor?
No.
Okay, good. I'm getting my haircut currently as I talk about the Tokyo sex whale. So if there's ever an episode to watch on YouTube, it's this one.
Yeah.
But so they took heroin,
Mhm.
and then takes about 45 minutes to 52 minutes for the heroin to really take effect.
Yeah. Everyone
and
knows
in-
52 minutes.
Yep. And then in that moment is when the storm hits.
Terrible timing.
What you want to hear? Even more terrible timing, Jared?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Everyone knows at 58 minutes, all you want to do is have sex. Hence the Tokyo sex whale.
Right.
And so a massive orgy takes place.
On the boat, like where is it? Like inside the boat, or are they on the like top deck?
Oh,
or
everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. There are 37 people aboard, which is a high number, but they were expecting a big day. And it is amazing.
Yeah.
The amount of intercourse that is taking place is just astronomical. And
now, Pat,
yes.
For an orgy of that size, do you want an odd or an even number?
You prefer an odd
Okay.
because people are going to need to take breaks.
Right,
You're going to need
Definitely.
breaks. Yeah, you're going to need breaks.
You need subs.
Yeah, you need some breaks. And also, people don't realize that one of the side effects of heroin is extreme fatigue. So,
Yeah.
combo
That's
that
the
with
thing
a
they
massive
don't-
orgy. Yeah.
That's what they don't realize about heroin.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's what they don't realize. So combo that with a huge
I thought
sex
it made
orgy.
you like peppy.
No, not peppy. Extreme fatigue. Anywho, so while they were doing this, this orgy, it's when the storm hits, and no one's prepared because they're high on heroin and in a sex craze, and then the people that are not a part of the orgy are extremely fatigued, and so they weren't able to captain the ship properly. They end up going sideways into a massive wave, and it sinks. What people don't know about that, at the bottom of that, when they found the wreck, they just saw a bunch of people on top of other people, and they didn't know why. And then they realized must have been the heroin. So that, my friends, is the #1 shipwreck of all time, the Tokyo sex whale, just off the coast.
How did the ship go down?
Because it wasn't because of all the sex.
So they weren't.
They weren't
What did they
properly
hit?
captaining the shit. So a wave, because it was a storm, a wave hit the side. When you really want to hit the front, so you can kind of go
Right.
up and down, it hit
Yeah.
the side, and that was all she wrote. And like I said, the people who went and found it, they said they saw skeletons lying on top of other skeletons, and they weren't unsure why. And then they're like, "Oh wait, I know where we are now. I know what the practice is here is of heroin." Immediately, the storm must have hit about an hour in, and that's what happened.
That's what happened.
Yep.
Wow. that's Pat's 12-pack, week 2. Next week, I can't wait to hear Pat's 12-pack, the 12 best inventions from before 1950.
Of course, everyone knows. I think a lot of people already know a part of that list because, I mean, come on, how do you not? But I'll make sure I put together quite the list for everyone.
Yeah. Next week, Pat's 12-pack is the top 12 inventions before 1950.
Now, just for clarification, because does this include 1950 or does it predate it? Because obviously
it's only through 49.
Everyone remembers that boom of inventions in the 50s. So that's why we want to get before it.
Of course. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah. I'm sure you already have the list.
Yeah. I mean, I could probably rattle them off.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if 1950 was included. I think about 9 out of 12 would be included in 1950. None being more famous than the Beverly Cutter. None being more famous than the Beverly Cutter.
Let's see. These are the inventions in the 1950s. The credit card was invented in 1950.
See, that's
a big one.
Huge one.
That's like the only one, really. Yeah.
Well,
a lot of these
for the lay people, the people that don't quite have a better understanding of inventions. but I obviously have a really good understanding of them. So
Yes, of course. Yeah, the rest of these top inventions from the 50s were invented after 1950. So it looks like the credit card is something that we'll have to sit that one out. But
yeah, that's all right. That's an easy one. We don't want everyone knows that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you can only top inventions through 1949.
Yeah.
How's that haircut?
It's going great.
Yeah. What's your you can't like is that like a hairdresser? Is it a barber? Like how's that? What's the title?
Michelle, what would you classify yourself as? As a barber, hairdresser?
A barber.
Barber.
She's a barber.
Yes.
Interesting. How long has she been barbering for?
Michelle, how long have you been barbering for?
15 years.
15 years. You used to live in San Francisco.
15 years? How long has she been cutting your hair?
When did we start, Michelle? 2 months ago? 3 months ago?
Your hair?
Yeah.
Oh, longer than that. I've done your hair about like 7, 8 times. Probably about 6 months.
6 months?
6 months.
Yeah.
And she does house calls.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
It's great.
Does she like the Red Sox?
Big fan of the Red Sox.
Ask her.
Michelle, you big fan of the Red Sox?
Yeah, of course. Obviously. Come on.
Yeah, of
who's her
course.
favorite?
Obviously. Come on was the exact quotation.
I can hear.
You like
Oh.
the microphone's not attached to anything. Like you could live reporter it.
I could.
Yeah. Yeah. Who is Michelle's favorite player?
Okay. Michelle, who's your favorite player on the Red Sox?
What was that?
Who is your favorite player on the Red Sox? For example, Rafael Devers or Alexander Bogarts.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah.
Both of them. That's what I thought.
That's
too.
a good pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have a hard time picking between the two.
Yeah, great guys.
Yeah. Does she have like a favorite earliest memory of being a Red Sox fan?
Michelle, do you have a favorite? Or I guess I don't. Oh, yes, I have to repeat for her. Do you have a favorite earliest memory as a Red Sox fan? It can include me.
Oh, you guys are putting me on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
Like for example, like the 04 World Series,
Mm-hmm.
my debut, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, your debut was like amazing. Didn't you strike somebody out that was like really amazing?
Yep. Well, actually, no, that was my second appearance, but we'll go with that. See, look at it, earliest memory.
Wow.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Mhm.
Tell Michelle we said thank you.
Michelle, they say thank you.
It's incredible.
Incredible.
Jake, is there any Red Sox news?
Yeah, we did. We made a couple minor league signings.
Okay. Who are they?
So we got,
Didn't some dude win a Gold Glove in 2019 or some shit?
yeah, that was the one of note. Yolmer Sanchez.
Yolmer Sanchez.
He,
I love that.
I don't remember him winning a Gold Glove at all.
No, me neither.
Who the fuck did he play for?
White Sox.
Well, Jake, I believe you.
Yeah, he did play for the White Sox,
I
I'm
have
pretty
no
sure.
recollection of it. We signed a big honking first baseman too. Out of, I believe, one of Casey Kelly's teammates. And the way I read it, I can't remember if it was the Sox prospects guys or if it was stats or a third unknown entity. He hit 37 tanks last year. Obviously that was in South Korea, so do with that what you will. But he got a non-roster invite to spring training.
You trying to say the Koreans are inferior?
No, he's Spanish.
No, but if he hit 37 home runs against Koreans, then
Certainly not the same as doing it in the MLB. I think we agree there.
Also,
I don't know if I agree with that.
plenty of Americans play over there.
For sure.
You don't generalize and say that he only hit home runs off Koreans, Jared.
Well, I was trying to say that Koreans are good at baseball.
I would agree.
Tremendous at baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But this signing was kind of phrased as if Schwarber can't be retained, he would have more of a shot to make an impact, which with the universal DH becoming a thing, I don't see us retaining Schwarber. I'd love to be wrong. I don't see it, though.
I could see that. Yeah. Especially a team like the Phillies, the Brewers, the Rockies.
Anyone. I mean, this was part of the hesitation with leaving deals to the other side of the lockout. Like, now, obviously, you can't sign a guy if he's not going to agree. We don't know what was or wasn't offered Schwarber when it may have went into this offseason being like, yeah, let me wait to see if there's 30 teams instead of 15 who are looking to pay me, that ups my offer big time. So I don't know any of that strategy behind it, but the new reality is that's something we're going to have to deal with. And I do not like knowing how analytical our front office has been all millennium. Bob had one of the top 5 barrel rates last year in baseball.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I would be kind of shocked if it wasn't the plan to roll. And I don't know necessarily that it's a bad plan, a good plan. I don't have any comment on that, but it wouldn't shock me if the plan all along has been Bob until Cassis is ready.
Yeah, and I think with to the point about the universal DH, the Red Sox are not going to, and I would say for the most part, notoriously have not gone above the allotted price tag that they've set aside for a certain guy. Usually if a guy gets too pricey, they know when to walk away. And with Schwarber, you got Bob, you got Julio, and you have Cassis. So there's just, as much as I would love to have Schwarber back, I would be stunned if they were actually able to work something out now that there are 15 other teams that, not saying all 15 are going to be vying for Schwarber services, but
for sure,
it certainly opens up a wider range of market for a guy like Schwarber.
That way of thinking's always pissed me off, though, because it's like they were right to set the price tag with Julio. I agree with you there because they were bidding against no one. He had no other offers. There was no reason to, and they still, I think, in the end, even went up slightly, like $10 million, which is nothing over 5 years. With Schwarber, though, it's like, he fits in so well with the fan base. He fits in so well with the lineup. And it's more like after Julio, is Bob just the DH now? Like, what's the plan there, really?
Because Julio will be 35 this summer.
Old as hell.
Old as hell. But
still good. Still want him on the team this year. Do we want 5? Like, what's the move after that? Because as a Red Sox fan, I know I am extremely uncomfortable without a DH. That's just me. All of our best memories have been with a top DH on the team. The 1 year, and it was only 1 year we didn't have one, was horrifying. Didn't care for it.
2017?
Didn't like it.
Didn't like it at all. Who the hell got the most at-bats at DH that year?
I know Hanley got a bunch, and he sucked at it. Like, being a DH is its own mentality. I know people think, like, the NL has a huge learning curve to figure out when it comes to, like, who actually can DH. Using it as an off day for people kind of works. If you want to carry 4, like, real outfielders, I guess that could work. But if you're just, like if the Mets, for example, are just like, oh, Dom Smith, you're our DH now. Not every guy takes to that role. Not everyone can just hit. Not everyone can sit there the other 3.5 hours of the game. Like Ortiz, and this story just came out like a week or two ago. His last season was on a couch taking phone calls every game, and then he would just go up, bat. He would leave people on hold during his at bat, and then he would just get right back on the phone because that was the only time in his day he had to talk to people. Which I'm shocked we didn't get like a penalty for that. That seems super illegal.
Yeah, it is. Like David Ortiz's final season was in 2016. Pablo Sandoval got suspended for being on his phone in 2015.
Right. Like I don't know why. Because it was like a Red Sox. It wasn't even like a reporter who tweeted that out. It was like a clubhouse guy, wasn't it?
It was Brian Bannister. He did some sort of like
Analytics.
Yeah.
Right. Like it was insane that they made that. So like you wait to drop that story in a decade, or it's like the statute of limitations need to get up. Like I wouldn't be shocked.
Well,
if
he's
we
not
got
even with the
penalized
Red
for
Sox anymore.
No, but the Red Sox
He's
are
with
with
the
the Red
Giants.
Sox. The Red Sox are still with the Red Sox. Like, well,
I guess. I don't know. I feel like if you're David Ortiz, you can do that shit.
for sure. I mean, I think it's obvious he wasn't like getting like pitching calls from the other side. Like he wasn't doing it other than he was just literally on the phone talking to people.
It's mostly a gambling issue. They don't want any like inside information from the team getting out to where like you can be making smarter bets because it's like, oh yeah, like I just hurt my knee. I'm coming out of the game, so you can live bet the other team, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, I see a ton of reasons why they don't want that. That's why I wouldn't be shocked if there wasn't some penalty. Like the first thing I thought when I read that heartwarming tale was this isn't heartwarming at all. This is going to fuck us over.
I don't know. Especially because Rob Manfred loves David Ortiz. Rob Manfred was the dude that came out and was like, yeah, that 03 test, not real.
Sure. Ortiz isn't going to get in trouble. He's retired. Like, it would be the Red Sox. The Red Sox would lose like a draft pick or get fined or something.
I don't think anything's going to happen.
Yeah, I didn't.
And to be fair, I was on the 16 team. I saw none of that.
Would you have stopped David Ortiz?
Me and David are really close, kind of like me
Yeah.
and Clay Buchholz.
Yeah.
So I would have said something, just for team camaraderie. But people looked at me as a leader on that team in 16. So
They did.
I couldn't stand idly by and do nothing. But
Would you have slapped the phone out of his hand? Tell him to get the fuck in the dugout?
well, me and David have that kind of rapport. So
Yeah.
maybe jokingly, of course.
Yeah.
But I like to respect David, so we would have had fun with it.
Mm-hmm. That would have been interesting.
It would have
to see that.
Yeah.
That was a great story, though. Just chilling on your phone. Be like, hey, hold on one second. I got to go hit. I'll be right back. Puts the phone down. Cracks a homer. Come back down to the clubhouse. Picks up his phone. He's like, yeah, what's up? He just does gangster shit like that. That's just David Ortiz in a nutshell. There's probably millions of stories like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure Pat, as a former teammate, I'm sure you've got tons of them that you could share with us.
Oh, ooh. Obviously, I respect the clubhouse, so I wouldn't say it, but yeah, of
Right.
Yeah. One time in Puerto Rico, I was playing cards in the dugout, or not the dugout, in the clubhouse, and I was supposed to be warming up. That didn't go over so well.
You were supposed to be warming up. Are you playing cards?
Yeah, they came running in and said, "Pat, you're warming up." I'm like, good one. And like, no, seriously, you're going in next inning. And I was playing euchre in the clubhouse with my brother and the trainer.
I've heard stories about guys getting haircuts like right before first pitch and getting chewed out for doing that.
Well, I'm sure they could. I mean, there's a barber in the clubhouse almost every day.
Yeah.
And I think David Ortiz got shaped up every day.
Every day?
At that point, why not?
Yeah.
Would you do that, Pat?
The most I've ever done was once a week.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing now?
I'm a once every 3 weeks guy right now.
3 weeks?
Yeah. You think I should go more than that, Jared?
Yeah, you gotta keep it fresh. I mean, you're an elite podcaster now.
Mhm.
You're doing you own 3 bars. You represent Big Sam's.
Have you thought about making a bar that also has like a barbershop element?
I haven't. Not sure how that would work, but
There's a spot, and I know not most places, but places have this. Before my wedding, I went to just get like mostly my beard lined up. There's not a lot to do up top.
yeah.
And like they had like a full service bar and like all sorts of like it was just like a more of like a high class barbershop than yeah, it wasn't like a place you would go just for drinks by any means. But I do think there is a lot of fusion in that world that could be done.
I've certainly seen, I used to go to one that it was barbershops that had a bar element, but I've never seen a bar with a barbershop element. So, like I've been
I would
offered
love
a
that.
beer while getting a haircut. I'm just not that kind of, I don't drink that kind of casually. I'm a social drinker. So like me getting, I don't want a scotch while I'm getting my haircut. It's not really my thing.
That's shocking.
Yeah, and it was like
Why is that shocking, Jared?
Well, because you're an alcoholic, and I feel like you would take a drink whenever someone offered you one.
Well, that's just not accurate.
You don't think so?
No.
If Michelle was like, "Hey Pat, can I get you an alcoholic beverage right now?" You'd be like, "No, it's fine."
Yes. It's actually so I live with my older brother. It's actually talked about quite frequently how that I drink elsewhere.
Are you drunk right now?
No, but how little I drink at the apartment. I can't remember the last time I had a drink here.
I don't drink at all in my apartment.
Yeah, I have ample bottles of scotch for company, but I don't particularly drink myself here.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You just go down the street and drink alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Just go right down the street.
Mm-hmm.
bosun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I might have to come visit you soon, Pat.
You should.
When would you like me to come?
Well, not this weekend.
What are you doing this weekend?
I fly out tomorrow morning.
Oh yeah, you're going to fucking LA. Yeah.
I'm representing Section 10 there.
Are you?
Yeah.
We're wearing Section 10 merch.
Yeah, we're doing a live show. Just me.
Yeah. You should do stand up.
I do my top 12s. People will be so confused if I start up there and start doing the top 12 shipwrecks as my bit.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it. But yeah, I'm going out there. We you see like BFF's pod and all that stuff. They're doing stuff. I'm actually doing our live show at the formerly known as the Staples Center. Sold out.
Sold out.
We're gonna bring you guys on the jumbotron, but mostly people are there to see me. So
yeah. I mean, look at this haircut you're getting.
I mean, I look good for the live show at the Staples Center.
You're great.
Can't look like a bum up there.
Yeah. Did as a former player, did you dread going to spring training, or by this time were you like excited to get back to it?
I was never thrilled. I had so much more fun at home. I will say
again, you're just like, oh, now I have to stop drinking as much.
Mm-hmm. I will say the one thing I did do is I drank way heavier during the weekends than I do now because I was on borrowed time, and I actually very rarely drank in season. Like I went out once during spring training every year. It was for my birthday. But I did welcome that break. I will say that.
Do you think if you were a pitcher in a different era, where it was more encouraged to like drink and smoke cigarettes during the game, you would have had a potentially longer career.
Potentially.
I was watching The Babe on my flight back from Arizona, and that just seemed like a great time. They were just shit-faced all the time. They were smoking cigars, like on like the trains. Obviously they weren't fucking flying from town to town. They were on trains together, and like the movie The Babe, about Babe Ruth's life, it should really just be called Fat Piece of Shit, because that's really what he was. He was just a piece of shit. Like he married poor Helen, who he eventually murdered, but he would just be like making out with like other chicks while she's in the room, and he's just smoking the cigar, and he's like, yeah, like I just got a craving. Like, oh, you want to stay home on the couch, me and you? Well, guess what? I'm going out. I'm gonna go party, and I'm gonna go be a piece of shit. And that's Babe Ruth in a nutshell.
Why would anyone even have a couch then? There wasn't like a TV to watch.
Have drinks, I guess.
Sit.
It's horrible.
What else would they, if they didn't have couches, what would they have? Just chairs?
Even that, like, you're literally just sitting. There was nothing
I mean,
to do.
people sit.
Sure. Now.
You don't think people sat until the invention of the television?
I don't see why they would have, is my point.
You're not watching television right now. You're sitting.
Yeah.
No, but I have a TV in front of me. I have this screen. I haven't really looked at you people during this because it's a very busy time. I've got my phone. Like I've got so much stimulation in and around my person right now that someone from the 10s would immediately overdose on serotonin if they had my setup right now.
Mm. I mean, they had record players. They probably sit by the record player.
I don't even know if they had record. They had like phonographs. It wasn't even a record player. Like it was that thing that you had to crank, and then this music came out of like the cornucopia shaped horn that was attached to it.
Yeah.
Like there was no entertainment. Like they couldn't read. You think Helen could read? Not a chance. It was illegal for her to read.
Well, those are the days.
Those were the days.
Sounds awful. That was Pat's grandma's favorite era of baseball. People don't like to talk about that.
No, people don't like to talk about that.
She was a big fan from like 1890 through like the early 40s. And I got a little too political.
It's true. I can't hear you out. You're muted.
No, he's talking to her.
Oh, okay.
What's so secretive that you couldn't say to everyone?
What was the deal?
No, I just didn't want to interrupt you guys.
That's what it was.
Well, I didn't want. Well, you guys were talking. I didn't want to. So all of a sudden, start asking for my hair to be cut a little shorter in the middle of you guys talking.
But now we know.
Yeah. But I didn't interrupt you. Now it's part of the discussion.
Oh man!
You guys watch The Office, right?
No.
Okay, well that missed.
This is the one podcast in the world where you can't ask that question. Every other podcast, people would be like, "Oh fuck yeah, I love that show. That isn't really that good."
I actually quite enjoyed it, but when Will Ferrell takes over for Michael Scott, he gets his hair. He gets a haircut, and I think he either got a haircut or he got someone to come in and shave him, or maybe both. And talk about how big of a power move it is. I think it's a power move, guys.
Haircut's coming along great, by the way.
I know.
Do you think you'll ever be a dye your hair guy? Or do you think you'll gracefully go into the gray era?
Gracefully go in the gray area.
Yeah.
I don't care that much.
Folks love I don't know why that was ever like shamed.
I think it can look really good. The only thing that it certainly does is make you look older. So let's say, which I'm certainly on pace for, to be single until I'm 40. Let's say I get Gray in 36 or 37. If I'm still trying to talk to a 29-year-old, they might think I'm in my mid 40s, which you don't really want.
No, I suppose, but some do.
Yeah, but you don't want to. You want a big pool of people that
Have
might
you
want that.
have you thought about dating people your age?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, not even on the table.
Not even on the table.
I'd rather die.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
I mean, you're still young. Like people, I genuinely do think forget you are the youngest person here, other than Jake, of course.
Well, it's because of my power move of having getting my haircut on the pod.
It's true.
Jake sent me a text this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, solo text. Him
What was that all
seemingly
about?
with a nice young lady at what bar was it, Jake?
Capo, the one where we're doing the video series.
The video series. He said, I got to get my way to Southie. I was not present, but I look forward to being present.
Jake was at Capo with a girl?
It would appear that way. I didn't even get a video of Jake. I just got a video of some random girl that I don't know.
Well, it really was a wide shot of the bar, so we could get the sense of the place before we shoot the series.
Were you upstairs or downstairs?
Downstairs.
Capo basement. It's a different vibe. I'm an upstairs guy. I really don't know. I don't know if you're an upstairs or a downstairs guy, Pat.
See, I was just going to ask. What are your thoughts? You've been out with me.
I could see you enjoying both, but me personally, I like upstairs more.
Okay. Maybe
downstairs has more of like a grungy, like green rock feel.
Name pending.
Yeah.
That's what we should buy. We should buy Capo.
Capo's Capo, though. I wouldn't want a bar in Southie.
No? Seems like the Hoboken of Boston.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like, if we're gonna open up a bar, there's only one area where that could exist in. If we open up a bar in Southie, it's like, do people make the connection?
Oh, I'm not trying to call the Section 10 bar has only one area. I'm just saying buy Capo because it probably makes a ton of money, and then we keep it Capo. People just don't know ownership changed. That's my whole business strategy. Buy bars, don't tell. Well, I tell people, but just keep it the exact same thing that was making a ton of money beforehand.
It's fucking pouring out right now.
It's nice and sunny here in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Hoboken, yeah. Jake, did anything else happen?
The third guy we didn't talk about, who we gave a contract to, Roldani Baldwin, who we signed as an international free agent in 2013, and he's 25 years old.
What?
So this guy's been signed with us for 9 years, and he's only 25.
That seems about right.
Seems illegal.
Probably is.
Well, you shouldn't say that about your organization, Pat. Then you're not going to be invited back for alumni day.
Yeah, I know. They were. That was next year for me. They were about to call me. Say, Pat, we want you. If I got invited back for alumni day, would I be the worst player in Red Sox history to be invited to that?
Probably.
I have to be. There's no way. There's no way.
There's got to be someone where, like, if they invited Pablo Sandoval back.
Yeah, but the guy's a World Series MVP.
Yeah, but he didn't do that here. Who cares?
Am I more well-liked in Boston than Pablo Sandoval?
You're more well-liked in Boston than a lot of players that are on the team right now.
I like that.
Yeah. What's that called? A Q score?
I don't know.
Your Q score is pretty solid. You done with your hair?
Yep.
Look at that.
Look at that. I'm back.
Yeah. Coley,
Looks
what do you
great.
got going on over there?
Just being editor in chief.
He's just chiefing.
Me?
Just chief.
Yeah. Big Chief.
I mean, it's the trade deadline, so there's a lot happening.
The NBA.
Is that what your other podcast is about, Coley?
No,
Oh, okay.
the other one's macrodosing.
So I've seen macrodosing. I didn't listen to it. I've seen you see your stories and stuff. I just don't know what it's about.
No, I used to have a basketball podcast. That doesn't exist anymore.
I remember that. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. But no, macrodosing's not a basketball show. As much as I force Inez Cantor Freedom's name onto it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we are in mid-Feb without a shred of baseball news, and we've still somehow made it this far. I don't know how.
Do you think it's because of people like HelloFresh?
Honestly, I think HelloFresh is a big reason why we've been able to get here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like how?
Well, because HelloFresh just makes your life easier, does it not?
Yeah, it sure does.
Fuck yeah, it does.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thing about HelloFresh is that they deliver pre-portioned ingredients to your door, including farm fresh produce that arrives within a week. So you get convenience without skimping on quality. Skip the trip to the grocery store, saving you the wait in long lines and ensuring that you don't waste money on excess food. You know what I hate about doing this podcast sometimes is the lights are so bright that I have to like squint essentially the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
It's either that or sitting in a dark room. Warm yourself up from the inside out with limited time recipes inspired by cozy classics from around the world, like beef tenderloin and cheese fondue. Wow. Customize your favorite dishes with their new Hello Custom offerings by swapping out one protein or side for another, upgrading for a more luxe experience, or even adding a protein to a veggie meal. That means more choices, more variety, and more meals truly tailored to you. HelloFresh offers 50 menu and market items to choose from every week, including veggie, fit, and wholesome, family-friendly, and gourmet options, providing plenty of variety. Like I said earlier, HelloFresh is one of those things that just makes my life easier. When you're always on the go, as we talked about with our pals at Coors Light, you're always on the go. HelloFresh is another one. It's just like, hey, help us help you. Help us make your life easier. That's what they do. So go to HelloFresh.com/section16 and use the promo code section16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. Again, that is HelloFresh.com/section16. Use the promo code section16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. I'm just ready for baseball. I'm ready to get back to the grind. After seeing the Weck dog out there, I just got the itch back. I enjoy my time during the off season. I like to kick back, watch my horror movies, catch up on some documentaries. But now I've got the itch back for baseball.
Have you watched the new Resident Evil?
No, so I watched the first Resident Evil for the 500th time like a month and a half ago. And then I texted Bob and I was like, we were talking about it. I was like, it's crazy that I love Resident Evil, the first one, but I've never seen any of the Resident Evils after that. And he's like, yeah, it's because they suck.
I don't want to offend you. I imagine the first one sucks.
The first one is amazing. First one is great.
I watched the trailer for the new one last night because I didn't know. I didn't know it even existed. And it had like multiple people I've seen in other things. Not like household names by any stretch, but like actual people in it.
This guy keeps fucking sneezing.
So that surprised me that it existed. It's called like Welcome to Beaver Town or something wild.
Beaver Town, Raccoon City?
Raccoon City. That's what it is. Yeah.
Beaver Town?
That's
sounds
not
like a 70s porn.
It's not terribly far off.
Welcome to Beaver Town, baby.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they had the zombie lane. It was immediately taken by Walking Dead, and they're never going to get it back.
I mean, Walking Dead gave it back. Walking Dead was like, we're a zombie show. Just kidding. We're an apocalypse show. They're not a zombie show anymore.
For sure. I mean, they weren't a zombie show from like season 2 on. Like they got out of the zombie game really quick, but I still feel like it's most closely attributed to them.
You a zombie guy, Pat?
Not particularly.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
I will say one of my favorite parts of video games was zombies in Call of Duty. That's what's fantastic.
I love
What
it.
about Nazi zombies? Did you like them better or worse?
I don't recall.
That was Call of Duty. I'm not just trying to like.
No, I know. I remember. I just don't remember. I remember one particular one that I played with like in high school.
Gotcha.
And I don't remember
Like
which
the
one it
original
was.
zombies.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just don't remember which one it was. And but it was a lot of fun. Like late nights in high school and summer playing that. Good times.
Yeah, I was always bad at that. I don't know why.
At zombies?
My video game, like truly being elite at video games, ended in like 2007 probably. I don't know what happened, but I haven't been able to get back to it. I've been playing Banjo-Kazooie again since they have it on the Switch, and I like struggle with that.
I don't know what it is about our generation. We're just not good video game people anymore.
Yeah,
I was great at N64. And then once they started to roll out PlayStations, I was like, I don't know about this. Yeah. That's all I can do. I can do N64. I can't do anything else.
I don't get it.
We're washed. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Still, should be better. You're just pointing and shooting. And I stink at it.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want Big Joe Davis next week?
Fuck yeah. What happened?
I mean, we gotta bleep that, Jake. The fuck?
That's not my problem. That's a Jake problem.
It's a Jake problem.
But yeah, what happened to this unnamed person?
I had to make a call that I didn't make. I was in Arizona, came back, and I was supposed to follow up, and I just didn't. Because I also didn't know when we were recording.
That's true. That was part of it.
Yeah.
What was the general vibe from, like, we hear from Pat, the former player, like, what was the vibe of the active players? Like, how do they feel about the lockout? What was their feeling about everything?
It was funny that, a bunch of them were talking about how if they live in Arizona, but they have spring training in Florida, a lot of them were like, I've never been in Arizona in February before. So they were just pumped to be able to go to the waste management. They're like, we're usually long gone by that point.
right.
So they're like, yeah, let's go to the waste management and have a good time. So, yeah, that seemed to be the general consensus, was that they were happy to still be kicking around. I would be too. Arizona's a good time. I enjoyed it a lot. Might get a
Love
place
that.
there someday. Jake?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this episode has been a big time struggle bus. There's nothing.
I'm distracted. I'll admit that. I'm
Coley's distracted. Pat's getting a fucking haircut. Jake's going to bars.
Yeah, Jake's hammered.
I'm tired. I had to wake up at 7 this morning. Which I know
You look great though.
Thank you. Hey, appreciate that.
Anytime. Hey, I have to wake up at. Well, I have to wake up earlier than that tomorrow, but I was gonna say I have to wake up at 7 too, but no.
You don't have to wake up at 7 tomorrow?
I have to wake up much earlier. Yeah, not much earlier. I'd say like depends on if I want to get a workout in before the flight. Now I was thinking more like 5:15, 5:30. I'm thinking about getting a workout in before the flight at 7:30. I have a driver coming at 6:30 to take me over to the airport.
How long does it take to get to the airport?
Only like 10 or 15 minutes, depending on traffic at that time. I'm going the opposite direction. Everyone's coming towards Manhattan. I'm going away from it.
Right. So it's what, Newark?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
If I go to JFK or LaGuardia, I'd have to leave at 4 a.m.
Like now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would be insane. Obviously, you'd fly from New Jersey.
Yeah.
And it's like your flight's shorter from there. Not by a lot, but shorter.
Technically speaking.
That's just good old geography.
Good old geography.
JFK is certainly more east than Newark.
Unfortunately, I booked this flight late, so I have to go to Charlotte first.
Oh no, it's not direct.
No, I booked it. I was convinced on going like in September. I just never got around to it. That's a classic me thing. And then once I went to do it, I'm a first class guy. I don't particularly do the coach stuff.
Same.
So there's very limited options.
Once you get a taste of it, you can't go back.
No, impossible. And it's 6'5", 240 pounds.
Yeah,
coach isn't ideal.
By the way,
it's not.
I paid whatever it was, fucking $1,200 for round trip first class on American. No TVs. That's insane. First class, no TVs, and then the other thing too, you still have to pay $30 for Wi-Fi on the flight. Like if you buy a first class ticket, it should give you a promo code that you can put in for free Wi-Fi. It's like you paid first class. The one thing that was cool was the priority bag thing.
Oh yeah.
Like they put like an orange sticker on your bag that says priority, so that when you check your bag and then you go to baggage claim, like my bag was like the first one out of the chute.
Yeah, I don't.
That was the thing that was great.
I don't carry on, but I mean I don't check a bag, but that is cool.
You don't check a bag?
No, I mean I'm going there for 48 hours. I typically bring one like a bag. I have like a bag. I'll probably do some work on the way out there, and then I'll bring if I'm bringing button downs or a suit, which I'm not bringing a suit, but I am bringing button downs. Probably I will either just fold them and iron them there, or I'll bring a suit bag, put them in there, and then have the lady put it in the closet up by first class. That doesn't count as a carry-on.
I always have a carry-on.
And
I have a bag that I check.
I just don't like waiting. I just, I haven't done Uber in a little bit now, and I'm addicted to the other stuff now. And
cocaine?
No, I'm addicted to a car being there waiting for me.
Oh, okay.
So now, it's much easier just to tell them, hey, listen, my flight lands here. I'll be to your fucking car in 10 minutes. Instead of the other day, I landed from Puerto Rico, and they fucked up the baggage claim number twice. Mm-hmm. So I was sitting there for an hour and 10 minutes waiting for someone else's bags. Not thrilled.
That was crazy to just FaceTime you and see that you were in Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm. It was I will say it's probably the most spontaneous thing I've ever done. I was at my bar at McSwilbo's having
Mhm.
dinner, actually having lunch, talking to the staff. And then a friend of mine on the walk home, I actually had dinner in my hand, walk home, FaceTime me and said, there's we were just chit chatting, but then they're like, there's a flight in 2.5 hours. You should go on it. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna. So I just packed a bag, called an Uber. That time I have to call an
Yeah.
Uber because I can't schedule the car. It's that late, but
Mhm.
called an Uber, went to Puerto Rico.
I like that.
Mhm.
I would never do that.
You know, it's not really characteristic of me either because I'm a bougie traveler. Typically, when you're
Mhm.
bougie, I assume you're the same way, Jared. Like you kind of need
Mhm.
a little time to plan it.
Mhm.
Like I tell you right now, if there was no first class tickets on that flight, not going,
Not gone.
not going. But there was one left.
And you got it.
You damn right I did.
What's a first class ticket to Puerto Rico cost?
Both ways, I think it was like $850.
It's cheaper to go to Puerto Rico than fucking Scottsdale, Arizona.
Puerto Rico's closer. What was your trip? Like a 5.5 hour flight?
It was like 6 to get out there and like 4 to come back.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours and 45 minutes to Puerto Rico.
Mm.
And fun fact, I did not know this. Puerto Rico is an hour ahead.
Yeah.
I
What?
had found that out, and I was like, that can't be right. And then I looked at the map. It's fucking east of us by a good bit.
Super East.
Yeah, by a good bit. And not that far from South America.
Super close.
Yeah. Learned something every
Very
day.
close to South America.
So,
Yeah.
That Puerto Rico was the first flight I'd been on in several years. Getting back into it. This was when I was still living in New York. It was only a 3-hour flight. I was like, that's not too short, not too long. Like 3 hours is good.
Yeah.
And I was shocked at how close it was. Because I don't really watch the TV. I have an iPad. Like there's too much technology to still be relying on the plain TV. I think those people are the dumbest people alive. So I'm a big look at the map guy.
Okay.
On the flight. Just gives me something to do. I like seeing where we are, finding little tiny islands that I can't believe people live on.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw Puerto Rico, it was I could throw a baseball to Venezuela and stuff. I was pretty taken aback. I was I don't know that I would have signed up for this flight if I knew how south I was going.
Yeah, I didn't realize it either. And I lived in Puerto Rico for 3 months during the Winter League back in 2015. I had no clue. I thought it was like Cuba. It was right off the coast of Miami. Not at all.
Yeah, that. All of those islands lumped together in my brain, all of them. The only one I know isn't in that collection is Bermuda, which is off the coast of the Carolinas. But the rest of those islands all kind of blend together in my mind. So when I saw Puerto Rico, it was a good bit south. It was shocking.
Yeah. Yep. Learn something new.
We should do a live show in Puerto Rico.
The PR.
Sure, go back to my home, Caguas, where Alex Cora, I don't think he manages anymore, but
he manages the Red Sox now.
Yeah.
So you got to play for Alex Cora?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great guy.
What was your favorite memory of playing for him?
Well, they had the benches clearing brawl, but everyone knows about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm going to say this one because you guys probably are going to love it because it involves alcohol. But on my last day, I brought they like Johnny Walker. Not my favorite scotch, but they like it. So I bought a bottle of Blue Label, which is supposedly the best one, at least the best one I know of. And I gave it to the coaching staff as a thank you to have, they usually have a drink after the game as a thank you. And then at the end of my last game, they brought me and my brother in, and they just poured the entire bottle out in shots to everyone and did a little cheers, said thanked me for coming down, blah blah blah, and sent me on my way. It was a nice little gesture.
That's nice.
Class act from Alex Cora, but we'd expect nothing less.
Guys, all class.
All class.
I really hope something happens in the next week.
Well, we at the very least we have to. I can tell you guys all about the live show at the Staples Center
Yeah, live show at the Staples Center. When are you coming back from LA?
Sunday.
Coming back Sunday. You're coming back the day of the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I could give two shits about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm going out there to party, enjoy myself. Obviously, do the live show. With you guys won't believe the special guests we got. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Love that. All right. We almost fucking made it to 2 hours. That's stupid.
Well, to be fair, my top 12 shipwrecks took about 30 minutes.
Do you think those shipwrecks were like when they got in the water? Do you think they were like, man, I love the water. I wish I had some wood grooming products to clean myself off with?
Oh, 100%, especially those long days at sea. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Pat, you get that? You get that read?
Of course. Well, that's nothing. It's not read. It's just me wanting to talk about the wood cleaning products. That's not it. Okay. I don't know what that even says. Hello Fresh. Man, so those products in the
Love 'em.
ocean, love them. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about because
Right.
of those shipwrecks, and this is something that I want to introduce to all of you guys.
Sure.
Yeah, so introducing Wood. I want to introduce that to you guys. A new men's grooming line offering products across hair, body, beard, and shave. So that's obviously very important. You need to cover all three of those. If you don't cover all three, you might as well. I mean, I don't even know why you're making a product. But the other thing is with Wood products, you'll look your best, smell your best, and feel your best. Look good, feel good, play good, as Jared knows from his baseball playing days.
Right.
Now all you gotta do is live your best, right? Gotta live your best. Get haircuts during podcasts, things of that nature. Wood is for the guy who knows that his best life doesn't just come to him. He has to go out and find it, which is something that Jake does on the daily, specifically on Saturday nights at Capo. And Wood works best and smells as good as it looks. So, that's what we're talking about today. So, something that I wanted to personally say about the products. My favorite scent. There's a few scents that I particularly like, but my specific favorite one is Golden Hour.
Mhm.
Golden. Do you like Golden Hour, Jared?
I love it.
Yeah. Is it your favorite?
It's up there. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
many good scents.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
But what my second favorite is Summer House. And the reason why Summer House is my second favorite, everyone knows Golden Hour is the best. But the Summer House, it has the coastal lavender, and everyone knows lavender is a nice, soothing smell that lets you go to sleep every night. I mean, it's very relaxing. I know that Coley uses lavender almost daily at night.
Mhm.
So that's definitely something that I want to make mention of here while we talk about shipwrecks and bringing wood products onto the ship. Um, my favorite product, of course, is the moisturizer, though. As you guys can see, I have some sunburn. I've been kissed by the sun
Good.
in Puerto Rico, and the moisturizer has been quite lovely. I'm not peeling really at all, um, and that's because of the moisturizer that wood comes with. Um, and the nice thing about this whole thing is how easy it is to level up because they have such great products. I mean, I can go into, let's say, some random schmo's bathroom and realize that all you got to do is buy some of these products, and boom, your bathroom is immediately better with the products. And when people use the bathroom, I would suggest putting these in the public, the guest bath, because you want people to think you're legit. And if you put it you hide it away in the bedroom, no one's gonna know, and you want people to know when you buy the premium products that Wood offers. Um, and there's a few other things I wanted to talk to you guys about. Um, I've talked to many lovely ladies in my day, and the recent ones that have come around have really talked about the positive and the way I smell specifically.
Mhm.
And how different it is from previous smells that I've had. And because I use this every morning, I feel amazing attacking the day and doing things like I said, doing podcasts and having a haircut, you know feeling like the type of guy that I am, the boss of the show here. So listen, guys, shop wood at getwood.com or at your local CVS, because they do offer them at CVS, which is conveniently, if any of you guys are in Hoboken, there's a CVS right next to Green Rock. Actually, it's right between Green Rock and McSwilbo's, so
Mm.
that's great. Um, and they have, I mean, too many products to even talk about. But if you have a bodily need, they have it for you. So shop wood at getwood.com and bring it on ships with you.
Is that wood like WOOD?
No, my God, Coley. Damn it, Coley. It's WOULD. Get wood. WOULD.com. Aisle 14 at CVS in Hoboken.
1-4.
1-4.
All right. So, how about that baseball?
Got a lot of hair around me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I guess we'll see you next week with that special guest that we were talking about earlier.
Can't wait.
Are you gonna have any questions, Pat?
I typically have loads of questions, but I will be tired from my my live show that I have to run myself at the Staples Center. So I'll probably let you take it, Jared.
Okay. Coley, are you excited for our guest?
Yeah, big time. Everyone should be excited about this guest.
But mostly Coley.
I mean, everyone should be excited, genuinely, about this person.
But Coley will be the most excited.
Yeah.
All right. See you next week.
Buenas noches, amigos.